Hey there guys, what is up? Gamer Dude back once again to bring you some Spider-Man PS4 gameplay. So today in this video I just want to be talking about the future of the game itself, any possible DLCs that may appear. As we know, we are getting the 3, but we don't know what's coming after that. And I want to talk about the future of the franchise as well. Given that Miles Morales is in the story, we now know that the story can go in a number of ways, a number of different ways actually. And that being said, I believe because Miles Morales is actually in this story that he is, that we are in the Ultimate Universe for this style of Spider-Man. Which would make a lot of sense, I mean, because as we all know, Miles Morales is an alternate version of Spider-Man. And he can't exist without Peter Parker anyway, because he became Spider-Man due to watching him die. But before I jump ahead, I want to give you all a huge shout out anyway. I appreciate all the love and support the channel's gotten lately. My goal of 700 subscribers is so close now. I am at 699 subscribers. I mean, just wow. I also want to thank Blazin710420. A lot of my subscribers have come over from his side of things because he's always giving me shout outs on his channel, so I appreciate that as well. I want to give a shout out to Direct Virus as well. He is on the gaming side of things too, so check out his channel if you haven't already. He's also my cousin, so it's cool to have family on the same side of things. Anyway, yes, continuing on. What do you guys think? Do you think there's a lot more that this game has to offer? I believe there is. I mean, I think there's so much more they can do with this. Just down to the fact that it was such a big game in the first place. I mean, it's great that when you complete the game, the crimes actually come back, so you can get any of the achievements that you missed. But we're already ranting for something new. I mean, I know I am. I straight out want something new. Being honest, I really can't wait for the new DLCs as well, but something after that would be really cool. Like if we were to get, I don't know, some new suits or just some new crimes in progress added into the game, that'd be really cool. And to anyone who might be commenting right now, don't worry, I'm not ignoring you. I'm actually scripting this one. I've scripted this one so I know what to say, so I've got it in front of me and I will open the chat once I'm done. So after getting to grips with this Spider-Man and its quite frankly short story, I mean it was only what, 20 hours, which is a bit of a letdown, but the story itself was beautiful, so I'm not going to dispute it. Where can it go next? As I've said, any DLCs or whatnot, we just don't know. We know we're getting the 3, but we don't know anything after that. The directors of the game also kept to their word that Venom wouldn't be here. Now, I'm kind of glad that they didn't include Venom, even if it was just as a separate suit, just because he does deserve his own story. I mean, even the developer of the game actually said he deserves his own story. He's such a classic villain for Spider-Man that they didn't just want to put him in as just a special suit, really. Which I do completely agree with. So instead of that, instead of your typical villains like Green Goblin, Venom, Carnage and whatnot, we were given the Sinister Six, which is really cool because we haven't actually seen the Sinister Six in a game since, I think, Ultimate Spider-Man on the PS2. So it's quite a ways back, because Ultimate Spider-Man was 2004, I think. So it's really cool. So, even though the symbiotes and whatnot weren't officially featured in the game, it doesn't mean that Insomniac didn't actually hide them in plain sight, because they did. They hid plenty of Easter eggs and references for us all to uncover, especially that one in the post-credit scenes where we see Norman Osborn looking at Harry Osborn. Spoiler alert, by the way. Looking at Harry Osborn in the sort of test tube that he had him in. I suppose you could call it a test tube. And then we see this splodge appear on there, which is basically the Venom symbiote.
Gotta be honest, I'm not a fan of Big Pharma, especially back alley Big Pharma.
But I seriously can't get enough of this game, even if it is the end. Even if they don't do another Spider-Man game, which I doubt they won't. But you know, it's just a theory that they might not. But yeah, as I was saying, we know that there's a lot to uncover, as in secrets and everything. So it's always cool.
Drugs are maybe my most disliked criminal activity.
Another thing I want to talk about in detail is J. Jonah Jameson and Tombstone and any of the little side characters and side bosses that they added in. I mean, even though they only got small parts, like JJ, you don't see him at all in the game. He's just got his little podcast. I think you get about 100 of his podcasts and then it suddenly stops. But as to him being a main character in the next game, I'm not 100% if they would do that. I mean, what else can they do with Jameson? He's always just been a rant on Spider-Man. Same with Tombstone. I mean, we haven't seen Tombstone on screen or in a game at all. In fact, we haven't seen him since the 90s Spider-Man cartoon series. So I think it's really cool that they added in Tombstone just as a little Easter eggy boss battle. So the appearance or lack thereof, as I was saying, of Harry Osborn kind of leads you to believe that he's going to have a huge part in the next game.
Don't panic, I'm here.
Either that or Sony will rob the idea for the next Spider-Man movie, not Far From Home, but the one after that.
Whoever caused this wreck is nearby.
Because I get the feeling that the next Spider-Man movie after Far From Home will come way before the next Spider-Man game. I don't think we're going to see another Spider-Man game until at least the next generation of consoles. Which does suck, does really kind of suck, because I want to see another Spidey game, we all do. But the simple fact is, with Harry not being in this game, we know full well that he's going to play a huge part in the next one. He's possibly even going to be Venom. There is literally no reference to Eddie Brock in this game. Well, in fact, sorry, there is one reference. There's a bit of dialogue which mentions he might be dead. But I'm not sure if they're talking about Edward Brock Sr. or Edward Brock Jr. Doesn't exactly make it clear. They just mention that Eddie Brock is dead. I think it's in one of the Mary Jane missions where they're talking about school and old times, and they mention Brock and Harry and whatnot. I think Peter actually mentions that when he was getting beaten up. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So yeah, as I said, when you see in the post-credit scenes, you see that splodge appear on the screen. And you just know straight away that it's Venom. And I was talking to one of my subscribers, Blazing710420, and he seems to think that the fact that they didn't put Venom in this game was to save spoilers as well. Which, yeah, I kind of think he's right there. It's to save spoilers for the Venom movie, to save spoilers for the next game as well. And obviously, as I've said, because he deserves his own story.
Oh, come on, fellas. You can't keep ducking income tax like this.
So do let me know in the comments what you guys think about the future of the Spider-Man games. Because the fact that this one has done so well, I mean, it beat God of War on its first day. I mean, God of War was supposed to be the best game of the year, and then this came along and it's just straight out obliterated it. I can see why it would, though. I mean, this is just too awesome not to be God of War. So the sequel, I think, will focus on Harry Osborn, the symbiote, possibly Green Goblin, because when you're on that Mary Jane mission, you do see what looks like pumpkin bombs in the area. And to anyone tuning in and watching chat right now and posting in the chat, I will respond in a moment. The thing as well, with Silver Sable being introduced in this game, I think she's going to have a huge part in the future of the franchise. Because once again, she hasn't really been in a Spider-Man game since Ultimate Spider-Man, and again, that was back in 2004 on the PS2, so she's not appeared for a good long while. But yeah, every good villain, as we all know, in any superhero movie, superhero game, they always need a tragic backstory. And they're going that exact route with what looks to be Venom as Harry Osborn. Because he seems to be ill. Some kind of disease. I'm guessing it's a similar disease to the one they did with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I don't know, I think he had some kind of rare neurological disease in that. But we're always used to seeing Norman Osborn as the bad guy. And in this one it was still kind of a dick, yeah, but it was also really popular. You know, it was mayor, which you don't expect to see Norman Osborn go for unless he's trying to get something out of it. Like, what possible benefit was there for him to be the mayor, you know?
So, you're all going to jail, where I bet you'll be as good at breaking out as you were at breaking in.
There are also references to Mysterio in this game. It's only in a backpack, though, where he mentions Mysterio's helmet, but it's always a possibility that Mysterio could make a return. As again, he hasn't really been in a game since Spider-Man Edge of Time, I think it was, or Shattered Dimensions, one of those two. So the fact that they included all those backpacks with all the Easter eggs, that's really cool as well. It does quite hint at quite a few villains that could be making a return. Like, we know the Sinister Six will probably return, like Doc Ock, Vulture, and etc. They'll return at some point.
207, kidnapping reported. Officers needed in Central Park.
So if you just bear with me, guys, I'm going to check on the comments real quick. Just I've got everything I was going to say written on my phone, and I wanted to cover a couple of things. Biggest bud ever, what is up? Thanks for tuning in, appreciate it. Always love you stopping by to the channel, it's really appreciated. So yeah, anyway, as I was saying about Harry Osborn, he does kind of disappear into the sidelines in this game, and you don't really know what's wrong with him. Well, you think he's in Europe throughout the entire game, and then there's that Mary Jane mission, which really puts it into perspective from what's happened to him.
Muggers never take a day off. Bye.
So I think it's really cool that they included that Harry Osborn's actually ill, and Norman's trying everything he can not to lose his son like he did his wife. Sort of like that family complex thing going on. It's like they really wanted this game to be about family and loss and like just general life issues, really. I mean, because the same thing with Peter Parker is straight away in the opening scene we get he's got a choice: go after Fisk, pay your rent. And that ultimately he leads to going after Fisk, but ultimately leads to him actually losing his apartment because he went after Fisk instead. This game actually really brings you close to the life of Peter Parker. It makes you feel like you are Peter Parker.
Always nice to stop a mugging. Gotta stay strong in the fundamentals.
So, as I was saying about Harry, he doesn't really appear in the game, obviously, until the end, apart from the odd few audio logs that we hear in the Mary Jane mission. And obviously the research stations where he's talking to Parker about it. So the fact that he's talking to Peter in depth about what's wrong with the city and those little research stations, does he know he's Spider-Man? Because literally no human being on the planet could do what Harry was asking Peter to do.
Attention units. Report received of a narcotics sale in progress. Any officers near Midtown North, please copy.
So, in the main story itself, Norman actually sidesteps Harry's illness and makes it some kind of excuse. I think you should call it.
You guys are like little kingpins in training. So cute.
I mean, the excuse he gives is just quite hilarious. It's like one line of dialogue, and you just know that he's really just stalling for time, really. I'm not too sure what the audio actually was.
Nothing puts a pep in my step like halting an illegal drug deal. Did I hurt you guys? Good news.
The big twist to it all was the fact that Harry was hidden in plain sight. I mean, even in that Mary Jane mission, Mary Jane put her hands on that test tube and was literally within shouting distance of Harry Osborn, and she didn't even know it. Because Harry was actually in New York the entire time. As I said, he was in that test tube. And it's a real shame that MJ didn't know it, because we heard something in that mission bang on the tube. I'm not too sure. I'm sure I heard something bang, but it could have been one of the Sable agents outside, just looking for me.
Attention units. Civilians are trapped following a car accident. Proceed to Sutton Place. Over.
I've got you.
But the post-credit scenes in this game are a biggie. I'm assuming Insomniac have copied the Marvel universe and just thought, you know what, screw it. It's a Marvel game, so we'll just stick some post-credits in it.
I need to find whoever caused this wreck before anyone else.
As I have mentioned through most of the stream so far, it is more than likely that Venom is going to attach itself to Harry Osborn. But what is interesting is the fact that it seems like Norman Osborn actually created the symbiote rather than it being from outer space. Now, there's only been one other reference used in this manner for the symbiotes, and it was actually a cartoon series by Disney, and it featured Drake Bell as Spider-Man. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that. Guess I failed that. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have actually seen that one with Drake Bell as Spider-Man, but it featured Doc Ock and Norman Osborn actually creating the symbiotes in a lab to basically take Spider-Man out of the picture. In the cartoon series that I'm speaking of, Parker had been Spider-Man for about a year, but he was still in high school. Well, I think it was in his last year of high school, because the TV series went on to him graduating and going off to college at some point. but then it was sadly cancelled. But yeah, as I was saying, the thing is with that, it seems like this storyline's gone off that storyline with the actual symbiotes being created in a lab.
We reserve the right to refuse service and knock out any criminals.
I mean, it's not a bad storyline. I enjoyed that TV show. I'm just a huge nerd at heart. I'm a huge Spidey nerd at heart. But not only that, in the post-credits, it also teases that Miles Morales will have a huge part to play in the next game. It is even possible that we are in the Ultimate Universe and Peter Parker is going to die at the hands of Green Goblin or some other villain, and Miles Morales is going to take the cake as Spider-Man. Feeling guilty for Peter's death, obviously, and that he didn't do anything, Miles is going to take it upon himself to become Spider-Man. Well, the new Spider-Man, anyway.
Resting Fist brought all the small-timers out of the woodwork. Police are on their way, and so am I.
Sorry folks, I'm just trying to find my place. So the next game is either going to be focused on Harry like getting better and sort of becoming Venom, or it's going to focus on Norman Osborn becoming the Green Goblin and stealing tech and trying to save Harry, and then obviously Peter finds out that Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin, yada yada yada, and he's only trying to save Harry, and then Peter lets him go, sort of thing. We're not too sure how it's going to go. This is all just speculation at the moment. Damn, you really have to concentrate when you play this game. To anyone in the chat, I will respond in a moment. I'm not ignoring you, don't worry. Huge shout out to anyone watching right now, really do appreciate it. I'm just doing a quick stream here before I head off to bed, because it is well after midnight here now.
More of them? Guys, if you worked this hard at a legit job, you wouldn't need to be criminals.
I mean, what do you guys think about Miles Morales anyway? Personally, I loved that they've included him, because I loved him as a character anyway. I loved him in the comic book series. I was a bit skeptical about him appearing at first, but then I was like, oh, you know, this guy's kind of cool. Quite a cool Spider-Man. Ow. So not only am I talking about this game, I'm also giving anyone a chance to see any of the combat and skills and just general gameplay really of the game itself if you haven't seen it or haven't got it already. I mean, because by this point anyone who's got the game has probably 100%ed it. I'm at like 99.9%. I only need to stop one more crime and unlock one more suit, and it's the secret photo op suit, the ESU suit. So I'm getting close. I think then as well I'll start again on the game. Direct Virus, what is up? Thanks for tuning in. Direct Virus is on the gaming scene as well. If you haven't checked out his channel already, you should. Would appreciate any subscribes and any support.
Any officers near Midtown North, please copy.
So now I've pretty much covered what I wanted to on this game. I want to talk about the future of the franchise, like the future of Spider-Man in general. Like there's a lot of places it can go from here. And there's a lot of places it can't go.
Wouldn't be New York without a seedy drug deal. Gotta be honest, not a fan of big
Like
pharma.
the next game we're really open to anything. I mean, there's hints that the Avengers could pop in at some point. I mean, we might even after this game get that slated Avengers project game that's been sort of in the works and then not in the works and then in the works again and then not in the works. But we just don't know what's happening with that game. It's like, are we getting it? Are we not getting it? What's happening?
Out of sight, out of mind.
But I would really love to see an Avengers-style game like this, where you can play as Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, all in one. You're sort of roaming around the city, maybe flying around as Iron Man, then you can swap it out to Captain America and ride around on a bike. That'd be really cool. But what would be really cool in the next Spider-Man game was if, instead of killing off Peter Parker, because I really don't want them to kill him off after one game. I mean, it would really suck if they did. I mean, the ending to this game was just, oh my god, it literally brought a tear to my eye. Yes, that's it, a grown man. I was brought to tears by a game. I will not spoil the ending, because I know Direct Virus hasn't actually played the game yet or seen the ending. So I won't spoil that for him. But the thing is, with an ending like that, it would not surprise me at all if they do kill Parker in the next game. As I say, I really hope they don't, because I would really like to see more of Parker's story in this universe, rather than just seeing him for one game and killing him off. Pretty much like the X-Force in Deadpool. It's like, yeah, we're going to introduce all these characters and then we're just going to kill them all within a minute. It's like, wait, what? You just introduced a major character and now you're going to kill him? Okay then. But it's like, no, it's cool. We've got a spare. We've got a replacement. We've got a spare. It's like, what are we bowling with characters now? Are we playing bowling with these characters? I still think it'd be pretty cool if they added something different.
This is really flattering. But tell Silver Sable I only like her as a friend.
And so the potential for the next game is ultimately limitless. Given what we had for this game, I mean, it's just out of control what they can do with it.
A lot of job fairs.
But much like with this game, when you finish it, yeah, the street crimes come back, so that's a lot of fun. But there's nothing really to do. I mean, we all want something extra to come from the next game when you complete it. Like this game, we are apparently getting a new game plus, but that's not fully confirmed yet. We don't know if that's really happening or not. What I really want to see is some kind of Spider-Verse game from Insomniac. Now, there's a lot of YouTubers going around saying, "Oh, what if Spider-Man had online? What if they did an online Spider-Verse, like all the suits that you get now? They could do it as a Spider-Verse, but online." It's like, no, absolutely not, because then we would just be giving into everything that EA has been saying, that singular-based story games are dead and eventually everything will be online. No. No, no. Singular-based story games are still a thing. and EA can basically go screw themselves for saying otherwise. I mean, because of this game, because of God of War, they really don't know what they're talking about. I've said on multiple occasions that the only online game I really like is GTA Online. Because I play that quite frequently anyway. I do like Injustice, I suppose, but not as much as GTA. So I think fairly soon I'm going to be ending the stream because nobody's really watching, and I only started the stream because I just wanted to talk about the game in general because I completed it the other day. I had been dragging the game out like crazy because I really didn't want to finish it. I could not bring myself to finish it. Any of my subscribers will know that I've been talking about this game for a while. I've been hyping it up, and I just could not bring myself to finish it. It's one of those where you think, why should I finish it? Because when I finish it, then there's no surprises if I start it again. But that is all of the districts complete, so that's the last trophy I needed for the platinum. So now basically all I need to do in the game is get that ESU suit, which can be obtained either whilst you're playing the main story. You just have to take all the secret photo ops. I managed to get 35 of those before actually unlocking the suit perk, which allows you to detect them anyway. So I'm a big shutterbug with this game. If I see something I like it, and I'll snap a picture of it.
Officers respond. Witness report of an active drug deal. Converge on Grand Central. Over.
Love that. I love how you can web between the water towers as well. That's really cool. But the next game will have a lot of expectations to live up to. Get those damn brutes out of the way. So it's just with the gadgets you get in this, it does feel very Arkham-y, very Batman Arkham-y. I mean, the whole stealth aspect of it as well, that's very Batman Arkham-y as well. This is what I mean by the water towers. I love doing that. I love finding ones like that, just doing things like that. It's like, if there's a fire escape on the side of a building, he won't just run up the fire escape, he will web up the fire escape. It's so cool. Which is why I think the next game has a lot to live up to. They've got to do a lot to top this game, really. Which is why I believe, unfortunately, the next game we won't see for at least another 3, possibly 4 years. So it will be on the next generation of consoles. If there is something in between, it will most likely be that Avengers Project game, but I wouldn't hold your breath for that really, because we've been hearing things about that since 2010. So that's 8 years and we still haven't got anything on that right now.
Please don't touch the suit. How do you like them apples, huh?
There is quite a lot to do when you finish the game though. Well, I say that if you haven't done it all already, like I have stupidly, because I didn't want to finish the main story. There's things like this to grab.
Check it out.
Just a couple of newspaper articles. I got 26 out of 28.
See a mile.
I'm not sure what you get for collecting those. I really haven't checked what you get for collecting those. I'm not even sure if you do get anything for collecting those. But this is probably the first time I've done like a proper audio voiceover of this game. Just because every time I've streamed it, I've been going through the main story, and I didn't want to talk all the way through it, so you guys could see it, so I could enjoy it. Doesn't always work to your advantage, does this game though? And I did find a lot of glitches. Do check out my glitch video if you get the chance. I didn't feature a lot of them because I did get a lot of duplicate glitches, like swinging, for example. Even though the swing mechanics in the game are flawless and perfect, there's still quite a lot of swinging glitches. Like you can be swinging and then you'll just sort of bounce back and forward, or you just fall through the ground. That's a really weird glitch. I mean, there's one glitch that I think they patched in their update, or it was if you climbed all the way to the top of the Freedom Tower and did flips down into the water, you could actually keep flipping on the water and leave the map. Now, I did try that glitch a few times because I wanted to feature it myself, but unfortunately it didn't work, and I tried it about 30 different times as well.
Someone's getting robbed.
I just love doing that. I love dropping in on them. That spirit firepower looks weird with the Scarlet Spider suit.
No more muggers.
I think I'll be changing that suit power. See, I do kind of like that one with the quips. It's completely useless, but it's quite hilarious. Low gravity, I like using that one. Let's take the secret war suit for a spin.
Happy ending.
I'm assuming that people will be watching the stream after I've finished streaming. So I would like to thank you all right now just for tuning in, even after the stream's done. Doesn't matter if you haven't had a chance to catch it while I was streaming, because I will be streaming it plenty after I've completed it. Well, should I say after I've 100%ed everything, because
that car crash looks bad.
then I can start again without worry, and I can just mess around and do whatever the hell I want.
Someone's trapped in that car. Hold on.
I'll probably stream the story. I realise practically the entirety of YouTube is streaming Spider-Man at the moment, and has been for the last week. But it'll be nice just to see how someone else goes through it.
Someone, Spider-Man! A bunch of guys robbed a bodega and took off doing it. They caused the wreck. Need to find the people who caused this. They've still got to be nearby.
But see, like, I really like this Secret War suit because it kind of reminds me of Miles Morales' suit. Except with the blue spider rather than the red spider.
chop. I hate to tell you this, guys, but I see a lot of driver's ed in your future.
Aren't there 2 cars? But I see a very rapidly growing franchise for this game now. Like there's even some speculative rumours that this is kicking off a Marvel gaming universe, much like we've got the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But this will be kicking off a Marvel gaming universe, which is really cool if they do go that way. Because the cinematic universe is getting a little bit old now. You know, we keep getting reboot after reboot after reboot, and it's getting quite annoying.
Wow, you all forgot your keys?
I mean, I must be honest, I'm getting quite sick of a Peter Parker high school story. I want to see a film with Peter Parker like this game, where he's experienced. Yeah, he's experienced. We know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, and we can just enjoy him as a character rather than seeing him go through high school and having to worry about homework and. Ugh. We all know how it feels. We all hate it. But this was the pinnacle of Spider-Man. This was literally the more brilliant game ever made. Best for swing mechanics as well. I absolutely love the swing mechanics, even though it is a little bit glitchy. I mean, the second game on my list for the Spider-Man swing mechanics would have to be on the PS3, and that's Spider-Man 3 on the PS3. Yeah, that was a really good game for its time. And it was probably the only game I actually fully enjoyed, the only Spider-Man game I fully enjoyed with free roam, that is. Please tell me your home plays Dixie.
This is where you get off.
Bye bye. I think I've actually unlocked all the Jameson podcasts now. Like I said earlier in the stream, I think there's about 100 of them in total.
Reinforcements. I guess this is what they call organized crime.
But then after that, what are we expecting? I mean, because by now most of us have platinum the game. I've literally just unlocked the platinum now, just for 100% in all the districts. It was literally the last trophy I had. So I now have, apart from the ESU suit, I've got all the suits, and I don't think that categorizes itself as the trophy, because I got the trophy as soon as I unlocked the Doc Ock suit. Which I really like that suit as well. It's kind of a homage to all of the Spider Armor suits, which is really cool.
So much for the gang that couldn't drive straight.
But the question on everyone's mind is, where is the franchise going from here? Are we getting a series of Marvel Cinematic games? Because they have tried it before. We got sort of a we've got a few of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in games. We've got Iron Man 1, we've got Iron Man 2, but we didn't get an Iron Man 3 game. We got a Thor game, but we didn't get a second Thor game. Which is really kind of weird, if you think about it.
Nice composition, if I do say so myself.
But yeah, as I've said, they have tried it before. And if this is their new way of kind of creating that sort of universe, then fair play to them, you know, let them go for it, let them do it. I'm not disputing it. As, to be fair, I'd much prefer to see a Marvel gaming universe rather than a cinematic universe. The whole Marvel side of gaming, it's been quiet for a number of years now. It's been very quiet for a number of years. Tonka Tonk, thanks for tuning in. Do appreciate it. There's your comic book suit. I kind of like this suit. I really like this version of the spider armor. I like this one as well because it's kind of like this one. But it is near enough identical. Sort of a new addition to it, a new take on it. So yeah, basically, as I was saying through the stream, I've just been really talking about the future of the franchise and like where it can go from here, because we know we're getting 3 of the DLCs, which is from City That Never Sleeps, but what are we getting after that? We want to know if there's anything more coming after that, if they're going to release anything new. I'd certainly love to see some new content from the game. If they surprise us with some, maybe weekly suits, or monthly suits, adding a new suit monthly, something to do with that, just to keep the franchise interesting and entertaining. Or should I say, keep the game interesting and entertaining. But much like the production of this game, they are not saying anything about the next few games. They're not saying if they're doing it as a universe. They're not saying if this is it. I mean, clearly it's not, because they wouldn't put those post-credit scenes in if that was it, would they? But yeah, they're not physically saying if that's it, if there's anything else coming, if we can expect any more from this game or in the future. Tonka Tonk, thank you. Appreciate the support.
Officers needed in Hudson Town.
You guys are like little kingpins in training.
Okay, climb on the wall then. Didn't want you to, but okay. Ooh, demons. Not seen these for a while.
Knocking the ever-loving stuffing out of dealers is my anti-drug. Gotta split before the cops get here. Never know how they'll react
I
to
do
me.
like encyclopedias for comics. I have quite a few comic encyclopedias. I've actually got an encyclopedia on the sort of comic book version of Infinity War, where the Skrulls invade. So that's a really cool one to have. It's also a limited edition. I mean, as we know in the next Infinity War movie, they are doing what seems to be Captain Marvel and the Skrulls and whatnot, so that should really take off that comic book sort of franchise. Oh yes, the glitch worked. It's working. I was rolling on water. I tried that literally about 30 times when I did my glitch video, and it did not work at all. There is a part of that glitch where it actually allows you to leave the playable area and you can go to the Statue of Liberty. But sadly, you know, since it's not rendered into the game, you can't physically stand on it, but it's still cool to be there. I would like to see the Beetle as a villain in the movie.
I'll tune my earpiece to listen for sounds of someone struggling.
Because the Beetle is a really underused character. We haven't seen the Beetle at all. And he hasn't really been in any of the games since the PS1, actually. He was in Enter Electro.
I'll get you out. It's terrifying. Thank you.
But the Beetle is sort of like... He's kind of like an evil version of Iron Man, really. And it'd be really cool just to see where they go with that story and how they implement him into the universe. It's like Tony Stark could come along and be like, are you ripping off my look? Are you trying to rip me off? That's the sort of comedy thing that Robert Downey Jr. brings into Iron Man that's really cool.
I forgot to ask why they call it kidnapping if the victims...
But on a more positive note, as many of my subscribers will know, I was actually conned out of the collector's edition version of this game that came with the statue and the DLCs and everything like that. Fortunately, luckily for me, a local gaming company that's near me was running a competition where you can actually win a copy of the collector's edition, and I came first place in the competition. I have won. I am expecting the collector's edition version of the game, that is, in just a few days. Possibly tomorrow, maybe Monday it'll turn up, because as we know, unfortunately there's no post on Sundays, which really sucks. Oh, okay, he went through the building. Right, the X-Men. I would love to see another X-Men game. We haven't really seen one since way back in the day, and that was when they were doing the games on the X-Men universe, unless you count X-Men Legends and the one-time spin-off game that was on the PS3, where you got to create your own sort of mutant and your own sort of powers. If you haven't played that, I do recommend it. Even though it was on the PS3, it is still a really cool game. Still very much worth playing.
Where I bet you'll be as good at breaking out as you were at breaking in.
But as I've tried to make clear through this stream, there's a lot of places the game's future can go from here. There's so much potential for it. I mean, there's not much point in them just doing the 3 DLCs and then saying, yep, that's it, that's all you're getting. They really do need to add something extra, because otherwise there's nothing to do in the game. There's a little rumoured bird tells me that the New Game Plus may not be coming after all. Which would kind of suck if it doesn't.
Support your local businesses by not robbing them, please.
I'd be really disappointed if the New Game Plus doesn't come, because it'd bring sort of some kind of harder gameplay. Plus it'd give everybody an excuse to replay it.
Gotta be a special kind of crazy to rob a storefront in the city Spider-Man protects.
By merging, do you mean like merging the universes, like merging X-Men with Spider-Man and things like that? Because they're not allowed to do that at all, and that's due to the copyright issues, because they're still owned by different studios. The cinematic universe, they're all owned by Fox, Disney, Marvel. It's all messed up. And it's the same with the gaming universe. Like, Sony has the rights to Spider-Man. That's not going to change anytime soon. Activision actually has the rights to X-Men, because they're the ones that did the last X-Men game, so they have the rights to X-Men. So I don't think they'll appear in any sort of futuristic game. I don't even think Wolverine will appear. Yeah, and the fact that it's all Disney does kind of suck, because Disney really, all they know how to do is make talking animals. I mean, Disney really aren't made for the superhero side of things. They don't belong in this universe. They, like I said, they belong in the universe of creating talking animals and bloody crazy talking fish people. And yes, I am referring to Little Mermaid with that. I mean, what next? In the next Spider-Man movie, will we see a reference to Frozen? Will he start singing, "Do you want to build a snowman?" I mean, Jesus Christ. Really doesn't belong.
That's it? I feel like the hold-up guys are phoning it in lately.
%99 completion. What am I missing? Indeed. What am I missing? I've 100% at all the districts. Yeah. They're all 100%ed. Why the hell is it still saying 99 then? I have no idea. I think this may have glitched out somewhat. That'll be a pain in the ass if it has. Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happening. That's the point, because 100% of the districts while I was doing this stream, and I should have got the trophy, and the trophy didn't actually pop. There must be something I'm missing. I'm also still searching around for 2 newspapers. So if you walk down on the streets, you'll find some Daily Bugle newspapers. Let's see if I can find one. Here's one. So you'll find things like this, and they'll pop up with little Daily Bugle articles. I have 26 out of 28, so I'm still missing 2. I'm not too sure where the last 2 are, if I've missed them or not throughout the game. I didn't actually figure out that you could get them until much later on in the game. So I was just randomly walking around, interacting with some civilians to get one of the achievements, and I came across that, and I was like, wait, you can click on these, you can get these.
Narcotic sale reported in progress. came in from Tribeca.
Drug deals and criminals. They go together like cookies and milk.
Oh no! This makes the papers. Let's go kill it! Get the spider!
Aw,
Ow.
you guys are like little kingpins in training. So cute!
Taking down a brood. I love how they just fly across.
Huh. Fisk did keep these wannabe pushers in check. Wait, what's that feeling? Do I miss him? No.
See, the comedy kind of returns back to normal when you finish the game. Returns to like what the comedy was at the start of the game, where he's making jokes about Fisk. You think they would have recorded some of the dialogue over it? Alright. Oh, sorry I keep going on the pause menu, folks. I'm just trying to figure out what I've actually missed, because I've 100%ed all the districts and the game still says 99%. That one's at 97 apparently. What am I missing in there? Ah, a sable crime. That would explain a lot. I'm actually doing a video on these as well. I'm putting all the footage together. It's of all the subways stations, just in all the subway scenes, just in different different costumes.
Good shot.
Harlem Sanitarium. Okay, it's a bit of a weird photo op, but who am I to judge? It does seem like now I've completed the game, there's a hell of a lot more glitches now I've finished it than there was during the actual game itself.
Attention units, civilians are trapped inside their vehicles following a crash.
Other cities can keep their heroes.
But yeah guys, I think I'll be ending the stream shortly, so let me know in the comments what you guys think, because the whole idea of this stream was just to get feedback from you folks about the future of the game, what we can expect from the future of this game in particular, and from the future of the Spider-Man franchise in general.
Local units respond. Vehicle
Now personally, I don't want this game to end. I want them to keep adding more and more content to this game, because I think 3 DLCs is, for a game this big, for a game that's been hyped up this much, it's not really enough having just 3 of the DLCs. So what do you guys think? Do you think they're hiding something from us? Do you think we're going to get something that we don't know about yet? Do let me know.
break-in reported in progress. Backup needed in Bloomingdale.
Now, there's one part of this game I like in particular, and that's when the city's under siege by all the criminals and escapees from Rikers. There's so much to do in that part of the game.
Forgot your keys? I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Like, there's so many random crimes going on, and you can get shot at by rocket launchers as you're playing, and it's really quite fun, just swinging around and dodging rocket launchers and taking out enemies.
Look at it this way. If I'd actually let you break in, you'd be going away for a lot longer.
But yeah, guys, that's it. I think I'm going to call it for this stream. So thank you everyone for tuning in. If you're tuning in after the stream, I really appreciate it. Shout out to you all right now, to all my subscribers, old and new. Blazing 710 420, Tonka Tonk for being active in the chat, appreciate it. Direct Virus, check out his channel if you haven't already. He's on the gaming scene. Biggest Bud ever. He's new to the channel. He's been stopping by for a few of the videos, so check out his channel if you haven't already. So yeah, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. More content on the way tomorrow night. So for me, that will be 8 PM, possibly 9 PM. Not too sure on your time zones, but still, do keep a lookout on my channel. Hit the notifications banner if you haven't already. So I'll be doing another God of War stream, and then I might do another Spidey stream. So this has been Gamer Dude. Happy gaming, and I will catch you all real soon.